Let's start with this one. Louis Riddick is a person who builds teams. Do you feel like Cam Newton is playing for his career the second half of this season? He needs to convince someone, whether it's Bill or one of the other 31 teams in the NFL, that he should be a starting quarterback next year. Is that the way you see it?
I don't think there's any question that this latter part of the season is important to him, both individually and collectively for this football team, because people want to see whether or not Cam can string together some performances that are very similar to what he just put on tape last week against the New York Jets, or just a couple days ago, which is winning football. And the previous week before that, it was winning football against Buffalo minus the fumble at the end of the game. He was driving them down to tie and or win that football game. If he can do that consistently, he gives this team a chance. Everyone knows that the margin for error for this football team overall is very slim, but I think people are attaching too much to Cam's performance. Although he is the quarterback, I get that. And he needs to play better than he had played previous to these past 2 weeks. I get that. But really what is ailing the New England Patriots isn't Cam Newton. It's the lack of weapons on the perimeter, which we know that they don't have, although Jacoby Myers has stepped up big time over the past 2 weeks. And it's the defense. Look at this defense that has just been ripped apart on the first two levels of defensive line and linebacker. They don't have anybody. They just are bereft of talent right now. They don't have any on that side of the ball, which is really, to me, what is going to hold them back, if anything holds them back. But as I said previous to Monday Night Football, before we went on the air, I am never, and I mean never, counting out this coaching staff, this head coach in particular, the offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, because these two are two of the best that have ever done it in terms of being a tandem. And Bill will always have something up his sleeve to get his team to play at their very best. So don't count them out, although it's going to be a tough road for them over the next month.
Schefter, I saw you shaking your head or nodding your head, through a lot of that. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, I think Louis hit on a lot of key points there, and I think this is one of the reasons that Tom Brady ultimately left after last season. He saw that the cupboard was bare, and he thought it would be better to move on to a place where there was more offensive talent. So would you rather play in Tampa or another city where there are a lot of weapons, or would you rather play in New England where there was not a wide receiver on the field for New England on Monday night that had been drafted? There was not a tight end on the field who had been drafted any higher than the 7th round. So we are going after Cam Newton, or people are going after Cam Newton, when really there are a lack of weapons surrounding him, and it's unfair to judge Cam Newton based on the quality of players around him, despite the fact, as Louis said, that Jacoby Myers came through big time, not just Monday night, but in recent weeks, and has played very well. There aren't the type of weapons that we're used to seeing in New England, and that, to me, is as much the story as Cam being inconsistent.
Yeah, it's another reminder. They were the #1 defense in the league last year. They had a lot of players opt out. Monday night, they played again without Stephon Gilmore, who was the defensive player of the year. So clearly, this is not them at full strength, whatever full strength might have been. Schefter, though, what is your sense from around the league of Cam? Just to whatever degree he can be evaluated fairly based on what it is, what is your sense of what they think of him there and what the sense of him around the league is long term?
Listen, I think everybody recognizes the type of talent that he has, and he's scheduled to be a free agent this offseason. He's on that one-year deal. And so if New England can't use him, then I think that would call into question whether any team can use him. There aren't that many teams out there looking for a new starting quarterback. We are going to be in a draft in the spring that has got 4 or 5 first-round draft picks that'll be filling holes. So there is more of a surplus of quarterbacks than there is a demand for quarterbacks. Everybody wants one, but there have a lot of teams that have filled that need already. And if Cam can't do it in New England, I think that's going to raise questions to other teams as well.
What is your sense, D. Wood? If you had to guess right now, if you had to bet on it, would you bet that he is someone's starter week 1 next year?
I would say no right now. I think Cam has been inconsistent, and a lot of that has to do with the weapons that's in New England. There's just been a talent drain, particularly on the offensive side with New England, and it's having an effect on Cam Newton. You can't ask Cam Newton to do everything at the quarterback position. I think it'll negatively impact him in free agency.
See what winds up happening. He said they're close. The 7 teams going to make the playoffs in the AFC this year. As Louis said, if you rule out the Patriots, you rule them out at your own peril. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.